Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelsea and today I thought that I would talk to you about how I am doing 1 week post-op from my breast reduction.
What I'm gonna look like, and what my body's gonna look like, and what my body's gonna have to go through. I've just been like, this is what I'm looking like.
So like I said, I am 1 week post-op from having breast reduction surgery. I tried to make as many notes as I could possibly comprehend while taking the medications that I was taking to kind of share with you how things went, how the surgery went, how recovery is going, stuff like that. I've made a list, so if I end up looking down, that's what I'm doing. So there's a lot of things that I would like to cover, so let's just jump into it. Okay, so first I just wanted to kind of go over the basics of what I had done. I was a 32H before the surgery, and it seems like now I'm very swollen, but I am at a like 32, 34 double D. So things have gotten a lot smaller. The doctor told me at my 1 week post-op that I had 592 grams taken from the left and 595 grams taken from the right. So I had said in my previous video that things were very symmetrical beforehand. I guess about 3 grams is what the difference was. So that ended up taking off about 2.5 pounds. I'm in America. We don't really use grams, but that's what Google told me it was. So I did have an anchor incision, and that is where they go around, down, and hook up under like an anchor. At first I was thinking that I had some extended scars, so that would be scars that don't just stop at the base but kind of go back towards your back. Mine don't seem to go past really like the center of my armpit, so I don't know that they are considered extended, but they do go back a little bit further than I thought that they would. But I feel like my doctor did what he thought was best to give me the shape and everything that I was looking for. I was really nervous about ending up with dog ears. It's kind of like where the skin is sewn together, and it will make like a little kind of like a raised up thing on the side, and I was nervous about having that done. So I'm pretty okay with having the scars go back a little bit further, because I think that the dog ears have been avoided from what I can kind of see right now and from what Austin has been telling me. So the day before the surgery is when the nurses called to let me know what time I would be coming in and to apply this little patch that went behind my ear that was for nausea. I was very thankful to have that because I get motion sickness from just normal things. So I'm glad that there was kind of like a precaution going on for that. So I wore the best slip-on shoes that I could find and loose fitting clothes. I ended up wearing like this big zip up fuzzy jacket. I did not wear a bra. Most easiest to pull up pants, because you'll obviously have to get dressed afterwards and you want to be comfortable. I was the first one in for surgery that day. Sorry, I'm like getting winded. And so I went in, I met with one of the nurses to go over and confirm all of my medical history, stuff like that. I was feeling extremely anxious. I just kept asking Austin, like, we're sitting there waiting to get in the car, and I'm asking him, are we really going to do this? Like, when the alarm goes off for us to leave, are we really getting in the car? And we got to the hospital, and I was asking the same thing, like, am I really going to get out and walk in there? Am I really going to walk into the waiting room and go into the back room? Like, I just wasn't really thinking that I was going to do it. I was really feeling like I was going to chicken out. So I was very anxious. The nurse tried to make a little joke about me not being pregnant and she doesn't know me to know that I don't really take that seriously. I need to know that I'm not pregnant. And so she said that the anesthesiologist would come in very soon and give me something to help with my nerves before actually going into surgery. And then the doctor came in and he redid my measurements. They did my measurements, your collarbone, and kind of like go down and do different measurements that they did at the consult. They did those again, and then they started to do the markup. So when my doctor came into the room, he could tell that I was very nervous. Possibly the nurse told him I was very nervous. I mean, I think most people going into that are. And so he was just very gentle. He had such a good bedside manner. He just kind of sat down. He wasn't in a rush. He was just like, how are we feeling? What are you thinking? Kind of just went over a few things, and then he was very, very polite and asking me like, okay, do you feel comfortable? Do you think we can take some measurements now? Do you think that you feel comfortable with me doing the markup now? He was very patient with me. I cannot tell you how much I appreciated that. I really needed that. I really needed for me to not feel like there was any pressure about anything. So that was really great. And so then after that, the anesthesiologist did come in, and we got it all going, and then I went into the operating room. So fast forward through some of that, the doctor had asked me beforehand, did I want a picture when everything was kind of done and put together. He said that some people like that, they want to see. I told him that I did want him to take a picture. I absolutely did not want him to show me. So when surgery was over and I'm starting to like kind of come out of the fog, I was in excruciating pain. And you're kind of like, you're coming out of the fog. Everything's not really making sense. The nurses and doctor are trying to kind of remind you, hey, where you are, what you've done, everything's great, you're okay, stuff like that. And it took a little bit for me to realize that my elbows is what was hurting me so badly. And I was telling them, I was like, I'm in so much pain. I really need something for the pain. I can't bend my arms. My surgery was about 5 to 6 hours. And when you're doing that, your arms are even doing that just made like a pain go through my arms. They're hyperextended. They're laid out and they're hyperextended. And they're at, how did they explain it to me? They're like in a position where it's kind of cutting off the blood flow. So I wasn't having any pain in my chest. It was all in my elbows. And I think they did end up giving me something for that. But that was really where the pain was coming from. A little bit after that, my doctor asked me if I would like to see the photos, and I told him that no, I do not. He seemed very pleased with everything. He seemed very confident that he got me down to the size that I was wanting to be, which we had originally talked about as a full C cup. He did ask Austin if he wanted to see, and Austin wanted to, and so he looked, and they were both kind of trying to convince me, like, don't you want to see? Like, they look so good. Don't you want to just look? And it's like, I did not come mentally prepared to see it. And so my surgeon said that we would talk about it later on in the process and maybe email it to me later. So I thought that was probably for the best. So everything went really well. We got home just fine, got everything set up. One of the things that was really odd that I was not expecting to happen was, since my arms were so hyperextended, these 3 fingers on each hand were completely numb for about 3 or 4 days. And it was really concerning. At the time, they were very cold. Like when I came home the first day, they weren't just numb, they were freezing. And I was trying so hard to warm them up, and I just couldn't seem to. And I was a little medicated, and I had just been under anesthesia. So I don't know that I was really voicing how I felt about it, but I was very concerned that, like, oh my gosh, I have like damage to my fingers from doing this, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But that did kind of, they started to warm up after about like half a day, and then they slowly started to get feeling back. And then the soreness in my elbows stayed for a couple of days. Just one of those weird things that no one really knows to tell you about, but the doctor said that it was really common. So at this point, I still have not looked in the mirror. I am a week and a couple of days post-op. I intended to make this video the day of 1 week, but I was a little tired. I had my 1 week post-op appointment actually the day before 1 week, and so just from getting out for the first time, I was a little too tired to try to sit down and put all of my thoughts together. So I am a little over 1 week, and I still haven't looked at myself in the mirror. I don't really know when I'm going to. I had kind of originally planned to not. That's what I had talked with Austin about. I'm scared of seeing myself in such a vulnerable place, and then also, I don't know, something about looking in the mirror and immediately seeing what my body looks like scares me. I have Austin's taken pictures like here and there, and I will, throughout the day when I feel a little more courageous, I will, look at a small picture of them. But it's something about being completely exposed and also seeing myself that is, I'm just not ready for it, and I've set that boundary for myself, and I don't really plan on changing it. I've gotten little peeks like here and there. If I'm getting in the shower, I'll kind of like, oh, let me just like get as close to the edge of the mirror as I can and like maybe look at us at the side or something. But I still haven't looked at myself in the mirror. I can look down and I can see some things. That still took a couple of days for me to build up the courage to do that. I'm just not ready. But from the pictures, I can see that everything does in fact look really good. The doctor did a really good job. And so that is about it for the surgery. And now I wanted to talk to you a little bit about medications. So I know that every doctor is going to prescribe different medications, different amounts of medications. So I'm going to kind of steer clear of those specific details. But I did want to talk about how I'm doing as far as my medications throughout the recovery. So I've had my fair share of surgeries and births, and I'm pretty aware of what my pain threshold is, kind of like the mental side to that of like how long I can be in a large amount of pain without wanting to cave. Or for me, I can do really well with managing pain if I know how long it's going to last. But for this, I really didn't want to test that out. I think in the past it has been kind of like a challenge for myself, just to see if I can, and I wasn't really thinking that I wanted to do that. I'm pretty aware of what I can handle, and so I really just wanted to be comfortable. I have a pretty busy life. I have a busy big family, and I really just wanted to spend the time in recovery recovering and resting, because I don't get to do a whole lot of that. So I haven't steered as far away from the medications as I have in the past with surgery. I did end up taking the stronger pain medicine for about 24 hours. And then there was a nerve medicine, and that was really most of the, I don't know that I would call it pain. It was just like these little shooting things. If you've ever had surgery, you kind of know what it feels like when the nerves are kind of trying to come back together, and that's what I was feeling. And I took that medicine for 7 days. I think after I saw the doctor, I stopped taking it the next day. It just made me feel really woozy, and I was feeling like I was able to kind of ease back on doing that. And so I have been taking ibuprofen and Tylenol and kind of alternating them. Yesterday, I tried to see how far I could go without needing to take anything, and it seemed like from when the medication, like when I was supposed to take the medication, there was about a 5-hour gap to when I was feeling extremely uncomfortable and needed to take something. So that was really my only testing my limits, but I felt like I needed to know, because if I just keep taking the medicine, I'm not going to know if I really am in pain and need to be taking it or not. So I felt like that was pretty good to go 5 hours, and it was mainly just my sides that were kind of swelling and aching. So that is about it for the medication portion, and now I wanted to talk to you about how I am physically doing after the surgery. So the main thing that has been since surgery is everything is just really tight. There is a lot of swelling in the area and on the sides. I meant to mention earlier, I did not have lipo done on my sides. I know that a lot of people do that. That's not what the doctors seemed to think that I needed to do. So it's really just from the incision, and there's just a lot of swelling, and it's kind of coming and going, and it's not so much like everything's swollen. It's like maybe this side will be swollen, and like maybe the top over here will be swollen. So it's not necessarily looking even with the swelling, but that's pretty normal for any swelling on your body. You're not just going to puff up perfectly. And, if you're swelling in 2 arms, you're not going to swell up perfectly, probably. So things from the pictures don't look exactly perfect, but I can tell it's from swelling here, swelling there, that's kind of making it look that way. And once the swelling goes down, that it'll settle in nicely and look just fine. So the swelling has caused a lot of tightness. Also, the incisions, are trying to close up and heal. And so it's causing just a lot of tightness. Like, it's still really hard to hold my shoulders back where they should be because everything in here is just really, really hard. It doesn't want to pull back. I've spent a little bit of time trying to stretch every day, like trying to see how far I can. Oh, that just makes my hands feel weird. Trying to see how far I can comfortably raise my hands in the air, trying to hold my chest back, just different things to try to make sure that my other muscles in my back and stuff are getting the break, and trying to just have the best posture that I can during all of this. And that has really helped a lot. The stretching feels really good afterwards. And I would say that the stretching and the tightness almost feels like if you have on an underwire bra and it's really tight underneath, like you have it on the tightest it can go, and you've worn it all day, and you get in bed, it feels like you just can't take it off. It just feels as if there's something hard pressing against underneath, is the best way that I know to describe it. There has also been a lot of tingling. If any of you have breastfed, the majority of the time for me, what it has felt like is when your milk is about to let down and then does. It feels full, and the sensations are just exactly the same. I do have feeling in one of my areas, and I'm very excited about that. I was nervous about the possibility that I wouldn't be able to feel them, so I think that is awesome. I've been able to feel it since day 1. There's also been some bruising, which is pretty normal. It hasn't been a whole lot. It's a lot less than what I expected it to be. It's mostly just around where the incisions are. I have also noticed that throughout the day when I'm trying to stretch out my neck, that my neck is able to, kind of pop and release in places that it never has before, because I guess there's not a whole bunch of weight pulling back against it. So that's been pretty great. All right, so now I wanted to move on to kind of the mental health side of the surgery. That has been the biggest hurdle for me from pre-op, and I would say that overall it has gone much better than I thought it would post-op. Like I said before, I still haven't looked at myself in the mirror. I don't really have any diligent plans to do that. A few days from now, I'm going to be able to take the tape off, and so once again, things are going to look different, and for me probably a little scary, and I just need a little bit more time to mentally prepare myself or for things to heal so that I don't see myself so scarred and kind of like pieced back together, I guess. So one of the things that was a little challenging was the first time that I took a shower. So I did have on a compression bra and gauze. And when I got in the shower for the first time, the doctor warned me that I would probably get lightheaded. And I did. And it's not so much from the medication, it was being so exposed. I wasn't really prepared for that. The best way I know to describe it is when a child has a blanket and they just can't let it go. It's comfort for them. It's protection. That's kind of what the bra was doing for me. And then when I took it off, it was just like, whoa, no, let's go put our blanket back on. So it's taken a little bit for that to feel normal. It feels pretty normal now to go braless and not feel nervous or uncomfortable. So I have gone shopping. My doctor told me at my 1 week post-op appointment that not to go ham on buying things because the sizes are going to continue to change for a couple of months, up to 6 months. So not to just go out and buy a bunch of bras and shirts because my body is still going to be changing. But I did try to go out shopping. I thought that maybe it would help because the day that I had surgery, I wore this green shirt that before surgery was just like one of my favorite outfits. I could wear it with jeans or leggings, and I just felt good. I felt good about myself. I felt like you could dress it up or dress it down, and it worked for mom life. It worked for going on a date, and it looked really different. It was an extra large, and it seems like now I am like a medium, small, somewhere in there, depending on what the clothes look like. And so it messed with my head a little bit about what I look like, and it was just shocking. It was a really shocking moment of, wow, I have this like extreme difference of what I look like within a very short amount of time. So Austin and I thought that maybe it would be a good idea to go shopping and try to find some things that are more meant for my body shape now. We thought that might help kind of like with encouragement and to just give me a little boost because it was really mentally challenging seeing my clothes not fit and knowing that I don't really look like myself, or I just look like a different version of myself, whatever polite, nice, kind to myself way that I could word that. So we did go out shopping, and that seems like what a lot of people have said to me is like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so fun to go shopping. And I think in time it will. I bought a couple of bras that I wasn't really putting enough thought into. They were not front closure, and clearly I'm still in a place of recovery that I can't really like lift my hands up to get into them. I did get them on, and they looked super cute, but it was very uncomfortable putting them on. I also got some clothes, and it was really hard. It was hard to, I just felt like I was standing in the aisles not knowing what to do. And it seems like at 29, you should be able to go into a store and know kind of what you're doing. And I felt totally lost. I felt totally alone. I just didn't know what I was doing, and it was overwhelming. It was shocking to realize that I don't really know this body yet. That might seem dramatic to some, but it was a pretty dramatic change. And so I don't really know how to dress my figure right now. You know, before I would kind of wear looser things so it wouldn't be so noticeable of how large my breasts were, and I didn't want to be uncomfortable or have too much exposed. And now I'm just shaped a lot different, and it's just going to take some time and probably a little bit of Pinterest research to figure out what looks nice on me now, being as this is during 2020 and all the dressing rooms are closed. It's just a little hard, and you're kind of trying to hold something up and visualize it on yourself. And since I haven't seen myself in any of the clothes with this size body, it is challenging. And so the last thing I wanted to talk about is, how do I feel about this decision? If you haven't watched my pre-surgery video, I will link it above or below, somewhere in there. But like I had said in that video, I didn't do this for aesthetic reasons. I thought that I was beautiful. I was not wanting to change for a look. If that is your reasoning, I would encourage you to figure out if it really is for you, if it would really make your life better and not just for society or a person or whatever. And if you still come to the same conclusion, then I just want you to be happy. But for me, I thought that I was beautiful. I wasn't wanting to do this to look any different, and that was a pretty big mental block for me, was that I absolutely 100% didn't want to look any different. And so agreeing to do something that was really more for my health, but was going to make me look so drastically different, was really hard. And so I wanted to do the surgery because I had been having excruciating back pain. I breastfed our 4 kids and, was pregnant with them, obviously, and it was really hard. My breasts became very large during that time. Since I got breasts, they just seem to keep getting bigger and bigger, and my back has just really been taking a lot of the force from that. I've spent the past year going to the chiropractor. We got a new mattress. I lost some weight. I saw a physical therapist, and the pain got better, but my upper back just wasn't going, it just couldn't support the weight. So all that being said, if I was going for a certain look, I don't know. I don't know if it was the right decision, because I was truly happy with what I looked like before. But as far as my back, 100 times, yes, I am really happy that I did it. I was on medication at the time. I just come out of anesthesia, but when I was in the wheelchair and they were taking me to the car after surgery, was kind of when it hit me that it's not there. That chronic pain that was so crippling for me every day wasn't there anymore. The whole reason that I did any of this, that I was healed from that. And so yes, 100% yes, I do think that it was a good decision. It's just reminding me of, heal me, O Lord, and I will be healed. Save me, Lord, and I will be saved. For you are the one that I praise, and I'm so thankful to be healed. I'm so thankful that I don't have to live one more day trying to decide what kind of back pain that I'm going to have, because that's really where it was in life, was when I woke up in the morning. If I didn't wear a bra, it was going to hurt my neck. And if I wore a bra, it was going to hurt my back. And if I didn't wear it as a racer back, then it was going to hurt somewhere else. It was just the mental toll that takes on you of trying to choose your pain every day isn't healthy, wasn't healthy. And I am very thankful that it's gone. Not to say that I'm not happy with how things turned out. I have bought a dress for Thanksgiving because that's coming up, and I can go braless, and it's very cute, and I feel like I look proportioned, and it's just a nice little perk. So I guess the last thing that I want to do is show you kind of what I look like now. I tried to wear the same thing. It's still hard for me. I'm still trying to get the hang of washing my hair. It's just a lot of reaching up. But this is the same shirt and everything that I wore before, if you are looking for comparison. So just show you what I look like. Alright, so this is what I look like. I don't know if it's translating on the camera. I think that I look much different. And this bra does have like the little thin, almost like bathing suit padding in it, but it's really thin, and I wouldn't call it supportive, but it's at least there. So that's kind of how things have turned out. Things are just going to keep changing and looking different, but I am excited to figure out how to dress these things now to be able to live a healthier life without pain. So if you've liked this video and you made it to the end, then please don't forget to like it down below and subscribe to my channel for future updates. I'm gonna try to put out some videos of like things I did and didn't use, things that were helpful, stuff like that. Then yeah, don't forget to subscribe down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. I also just wanted to say thank you so much to all of my friends and family that have helped take care of my kids during this time and checked on me and brought food. I am overwhelmingly touched by the amount of support that we have gotten through this, the kindness and the understanding that everyone has used when speaking to me, and understanding that this was the best decision that I could make for myself. I'm just truly touched and thankful. So if you were in that group, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. We love you so much. Okay, I'm gonna go take a nap.